Hello, everybody. My name is Firefalls, and I am the coach of your Pancham Pianists. This is the first Pokemon Competitive Draft League video that I've ever made. And this is my second time with the VBL-S. Missing S in the title there. The VBL-S League in particular. I had a great time last season, and I enjoyed a lot of the content that a lot of the other creators in the community put out. So I figured I'd give my own shot. Make a little content, start with this draft review. So this season in particular is a little different. If you're familiar with competitive VGC Pokemon, you probably wouldn't see any of the Pokemon on this team in a regular team. And that's because it is, as it says here, a low tier season. That means you're going to be picking things that normally don't get picked in regular draft, except for maybe the 5th, 6th, and so on rounds. But this is our team. The Pancham Pianists have drafted the likes of Grufai, Hitmonlee, Rabombi, Lurantis, Cyclizar, Charjabug, Inteleon, Magnezone, Charizard, Porygon, and Chinchouo. We got a little bit of a band theming here, and we'll get into it a little bit later. But first up, my first pick of the season was the Painted Dragaiai of Grufai. Now, every Pokemon on this team has a lizard sponsor. After I drafted all my team and I realized, hey, I have 3 lizards on this team, so I'm gonna go with lizard theming for the name. So you're gonna be seeing that come up. So yeah, the Painted Dragaiai, or Grufai, has 19 platinum records. That's how many points it costs to draft. Plays the guitars, pretty sick at it with that extra long painted finger. And sponsor is the Painted Dragon. Its role on this team, I mean, it's Grufai, it's a prankster. You probably wouldn't see Grufai as a normal prankster on most teams, but because it is low tier, it is one of the best pranksters available, if not the best pranksters, at least the highest point value prankster. And for good reason. It gets really good options to set up in the teams. It's naturally fast, so out of other pranksters, it's going to get to go first if that ever comes into play. It can set up weather, which is really great for my team, as we'll see later on. It can help unleash Hitmonlee's Unburden. It has its own Unburden in case it doesn't want to ring Prankster, which could be fun some week to just see Grufai get unleashed on the physical offensive side, or maybe even a special offensive side. But it is a Prankster. That's what it's going to be here for primarily. And Pranksters are great at disrupting. Grufai gets a lot of stat dropping moves. It gets Parting Shot for pivoting and lowering both of the offenses. It gets Scary Face is a good way of using speed control. It gets Encore. It's a fast prankster Encore. It's the fastest Encore in the entire league, and unless it's up against a dark type, it can stop any setup sweepers in their tracks, can lock a bunch of Pokemon to protect. I think that's the main reason it costs 19 points. But Encore is not something to take lightly. So I think this Pokemon is gonna really change how a lot of my opponents are forced to play the game. And if I can force my opponents to play the game on my terms, then my team is gonna have a really, really great time. As you'll see later, it's really explosive. I feel like a lot of matches will really, really be determined within the first 2 or 3 turns because of how quick the offense goes. But yeah, let's move on to the second pick. Second pick is the Basilisk Inteleon. Also has 19 platinum records, plays the alto saxophone, excuse me. And it is sponsored by the common Basilisk. Its role is as a team sniper rifle. Sniper is an incredibly powerful ability. You can multiply its offenses by 2.25 times if it gets a critical hit. And with its signature move, Snipe Shot, it naturally gets that +1 critical hit chance with that. So if you run a scope lens, then you're already at a 50% crit rate. And if you get a Dragon Cheer from someone else, like a Cyclizar on the team or a Charizard on the team, this thing will be killing things even if it resists, right? Snipe Shot also has the added bonus of ignoring redirection, which could prove useful. There are some teams in this league that require follow me strats to really function at their highest level, and this is something that could really could really thwart those plans. So yeah, this thing has explosive offense. It is one of the fastest Pokemon just in this low tier league to begin with, and to pair with that, it has one of the best offenses with 120, I believe, special attack to pair with its 120 space speed. It has a lot of great fast support options. I believe it gets Taunt, it gets Icy Wind, it probably gets a couple of other things in there. And then it also has some usable physical stats. I think its attack stat is 85, which isn't the worst. It's not great, but with some investment, it could use its physical side some more. It gets priority Water, Aqua Jet, and Ice Shard, which could be fun for some weakness policy strats. It also gets Vacuum Wave as another form of priority move. So yeah, this thing will be a very dangerous threat. And I think people will take it accordingly because it costs so many points. Third up on our sheet is Lizard E Zebra, our resident Hitmonlee. With 14 platinum records and bringing a crash of the drums, Hitmonlee is sponsored by the Zebra-tailed Lizard. With all the non-lizard Pokemon, it was a little harder to find what I wanted, but I looked up what lizards could have the most prominent legs, and the Zebra-tailed Lizard has some very long legs for lizards. You should go look them up. Anyways, this thing's role is as a 50-foot stretched rubber band, as in once it snaps at you, it will kill you, but it is frail. It will, you can just cut it and it dies. But that's fine because this thing isn't planning to really stick along for that long. It's gonna hit you with a good fake out. It's gonna get some burden with either a close combat white herb with a normal gen fake out, or Lumberry Swagger or Mirror Herb Swagger with Grafai. This thing is going to hit incredibly hard. You cannot ignore this on the field. It can KO pretty much any one Pokemon at once if it's going fast. It's really great at disrupting because of Fake Out, and next to so many Pokemon on this team that have really great offenses at the start or have the ability to release to set up something that can get going later in the battle, this thing will provide enough of a threat that you have to respect it. It's also really good against Prankster's main weakness, which is Dark types, which is why I really like to pair with Grafai. So I think this thing has a potential to be maybe even a kill leader on the team. We'll see later. There's two other mons in particular that I really think could make that impact. We'll see. Up next, we have Satana, the Cyclizar. 7 platinum records, plays a trumpet, and the sponsor is a fan-threaded lizard, so no one's surprised. There are a lot of Cyclizar haters in this league for some reason. I haven't been around long enough to really get to see it being used, and I've never used it myself in a draft league, though this is my second VGC season, and apart from this, I've only done singles. But I think this thing fits into my team very well, especially during a low tier season. There are a lot less fairy types, there are a lot less steel types, so dragon type in general is very useful. There's going to be very few resists for those Draco Meteors that hit so hard. But this thing's main role on my team is to help set up Inteleon with Dragon Cheer. It just so very conveniently has 121 base speed, which is 1 speed point higher than Inteleon, so it can really get it going. And it has some other support options as well. I wanted to note that it does have some surprisingly good offenses. I mean, I think it's a base 80 or 85 special attack, which is definitely not great, but when you have 130 special attack Draco Meteor that you could throw an eject pack on to let Regenerator go on, this thing could hit harder than you expect it to. It can also make use of its physical side too. A common thing that you're going to see on this team is that even when certain Pokemon lean one way in the offenses, it could still use its other offenses, and if you don't respect that, then you could potentially find yourself at a disadvantage. And then lastly, Shed Tail has always been interesting to me, especially in VGC, because it's hard to use it when it's just going to be broken as soon as you come in, because two things can attack into it. But I think in a low tier season, there are mons that can take advantage of this. It means that it can very safely pivot in normally, because Shed Tail, the substitute can be broken, but then I safely get something in plus Regenerator. That's going to be really great on Cyclizar. I won't take that much damage overall. So I think I will get some great use out of it. I'm excited to see this mon blow up. Next, possibly the mon I'm most excited about on this entire team, Orchid the Lurantis. Only 5 platinum records. I think she definitely got snubbed out of a lot of them that she should have earned. But she is the band's lead singer, and she is sponsored by the Lizard Orchid, which is not actually a lizard, but is an orchid flower that roleplays as a lizard because it has something that resembles an extremely long tongue. And its role is as the destroyer of worlds. This thing should not have been 5 points. This thing is incredibly undervalued. Its bulk is great, especially if you throw an assault vest on there, which it's gonna often run, I think, because its offensive utility is so good that it doesn't really need any supportive moves. It's a mixed attacker that pulls it off really well. It has, I think, 105 base attack, which is great with superpower and contrary. With my sun mode, I could run Solar Blade if I want to, but then there's always Leaf Blade. But its special attack is also really great because after one Leaf Storm, it's now at +2. And what are you going to do about 160 special attack stat with 130 base power, grass move coming your way? On top of that, there is another Pokemon later on this list that I want to call attention to that has Eerie Impulse that can give this that boost in Trick Room that goes slower than it so that it will go faster in Trick Room. And this thing also, I'm really excited about the Terra potential about this because almost anything works well on this. You could always Terra Grass for more immediate damage if you need it. Terra Fighting is one that you'll probably commonly see because of the superpower boost from it. You could Terra Stellar, increase both of your offenses. You can run a mixed offense stat and just go whichever one you want more, and you can just boost that stat particularly up. Grufai can power this thing with a Parting Shot into Lurantis just to boost its attack. This thing is going to be a monster, and I think this team really enables it. And so, yeah, I'm very excited to see how this thing can put in the work. Let's say its main weakness is it doesn't have great methods of healing itself, but I think we can kind of work around that. We have Leech Life if we really need it. I think this thing probably gets Synthesis. It probably doesn't. With a Sun Mode, you know what? Actually, I'd say that if it does get Synthesis, then it does have pretty good ways of sticking around defensively to heal itself because Sun Mode is on. All right, next up on the list we have Draco Volans, the Charizard. One of Pokemon's main mascots. It has 17 platinum records. It plays a trombone, and its sponsor is the Draco Lizard. This thing's role is as a supernova. Solar power is incredibly powerful. It boosts your special attack by 50% when you're under the sun. And your fire type moves also get a 50% boost naturally under sun. So it just unleashes heat waves and kills you. You can throw a Scarf on this thing to outspeed things if you really need it. You can just throw specs on it and just let it kill. An overheat plus specs plus Terra Fire plus solar power plus sun boost. Nothing in this format is surviving. I feel like it will kill through even most resists. The only thing that might be able to survive it is like a Dreadnought, something that quad resists, but I mean with a low special defense like that, I don't even know. And then the fun thing is this thing is good in rain too. It has Weather Ball, it has Hurricane, it has options. It doesn't need to work under the sun, which is why I'm excited to use it. I mean, it definitely wants to be under the sun as much as it can, but it doesn't need to. So there are definitely some modes that I can bring this under that I might be able to trick an opponent into thinking, oh, he's going to run sun this week, but then suddenly it's just water and Inteleon's going crazy. Charizard can take advantage of that as well. It also has a usable physical attack stat. I don't know how effective Belly Drum will be on this mon in doubles. VGC. It's an option, but apart from that, I think it's an 84 physical attack stat, so it definitely can surprise if I really needed to. Next up, we have Reptile, Porygon. A reptile is a geometrical term used often in puzzles where a reptile is basically a pattern that repeats upon itself. It's my favorite name on the entire team because of that pun, but it has 3 platinum records, plays a triangle, and its sponsor is Solomon W. Golem, the founder or the guy who created the idea of reptiles in mathematics. And its role, it's a tricky triangles, it's our trick room setter. I think this thing is undervalued at 3. There are definitely better trick room setters in the format. I'm never going to argue against that. But this thing is bulky with Eviolite. I mean, there's a reason why Porygon 2 is one of the best trick room setters that you can find. It has good support for this team, especially because of Eerie Impulse. It has some other support move. I think it has speed control. You can use Electro Web or Icy Wind, whichever one you want. This thing is also deceptively special because it has 3 good abilities. Two you're going to find are much better than the other. Analytics good, but I don't think it's really great on this mon. Trace could always come in handy week to week, depends on what Pokemon is going to be coming against, but Download giving this thing a special attack increase. Its base special attack is 85. With a special attack increase, that 85 creeps up to like 127.5 or something like that. That is a powerful special attacker. And that's deceptive because it's just a little Porygon. I think a lot of people are just going to see this thing and they're going to be like, this thing isn't going to hit hard. And then even if I don't put any investment into special attack, if it, gets the special boost from download, you're going to be taking like 30-40% from just a raw Terror Blast or a Tri-Attack. And sometimes that's all the difference. And if I do want it to be specially invested, it will do damage. This thing has the capability of sticking around. And so I think it's gonna find its place in this team a lot more than any other 3-pointer would. Up next on the team is the Golden Girl, Cutie Fly. Only 2 platinum records, but maybe it's because she plays the chimes. But her sponsor is the Golden Gecko. Her role is pretty simple. I think this one's maybe one of the most straightforward on the entire team. It's a covert Tailwind. I mean, it has Covert Cloak built in with its ability. I think it's Shield Dust, right? It gets Tailwind, which my team didn't have, and so I figured, hey, even if I'm getting a very cheap Tailwind mon, I might as well get one that, actually could work if you, throw a Focus Sash on it, maybe. So yeah, this thing also is a Tailwinder that isn't a flying type, and I didn't want to get another electric weakness next to Inteleon and Charizard. It has some decent support options. It gets screens. It gets a lot of disruption options that I'm not remembering right now. And the last thing I put down there, I want to put 3, bullet points for every single Pokemon. So I don't know if this will ever come into play, but maybe I could find a use for Baton Pass and Quiver Dance. Quiver Dance up, Baton Pass to a special attacker. I don't think anything's going to be surviving like a +1 Inteleon. Just naturally, maybe even under rain, everything just melts. Charizard likes it. My team has a lot of special attackers, and that's something that you're not going to find often in this conference. The low tier board is very physically biased, not only physical attack wise, but also defense wise. And this thing is going to shred. This team in general. But we'll see if Cutiefly can get it done. I'm excited to see when it can come on which weeks and which weeks it will make a difference, because sometimes all you need is that Tailwind. But overall, for the Tailwind / Trick Room setters, I'm definitely more enthusiastic about Porygon than I am about Cutiefly. All right, next up, we had a lot of points saved up at the end, and I wanted to get a Steel type. I was originally looking between this Magnezone and Bitsharp. A Dark type would have gone very well on the team, but Magnezone fulfilled a role that I really wanted to snap before the end of the draft, and that was as an Iron Defense Body Press user, who also just a Steel type. Steel types are really good in this format, and it really rounds out my team. This is the Metal Lizard Magnezone. I think that was Samix, I believe, was really distraught by me calling this thing a Metal Lizard, but hey, I gotta continue with the theming. 19 platinum records, plays the piano and keyboard, sponsors the Metallic Skink. You can see a bunch of the piano keys are for some reason metallic and stuck to his body because I couldn't draw an entire piano in this frame. But yeah, this role is as the Metal Lizard. It is the defensive backbone of the team. It has great defenses. With an Iron defense, it will be unkillable physically. It has the highest special attack on this team as well. I think electric types are really, really useful in this format because there's an abundance of water and flying types. And I think that's going to put in a lot of work. This thing operates well under Trick Room. It can make use of Tailwind if Cutiefly can get it off. I think there's going to be some weeks where this thing just stays on the field and just sweeps. But it is paired with the last Pokemon especially. We'll say that the last Pokemon especially is paired with it, because this doesn't need the last one, but we'll get there in a second. The next pick, second to last one, is Blue Steel, the Charjabug. 3 platinum records, and its role is as tech. It's a technician for the team. You see, it's literally a battery. There's jumper cables on it. It sponsors the Electric Blue Gecko. Its role is as a battery bot. I have a lot of special attackers. This mon gives a 30% boost to all of them. Throw this on the field to switch in when I have a Charizard Heat Wave coming on with Sun up, Solar Powers boosted, battery boosted. It's just gonna kill. This thing is here to support the team, and it does it very well. This thing is a very bulky Eviolite user as well. It has 400 base stat total points, and only like 30 of those are in speed. So its defenses have a lot of stat points that were allocated to them. And I think an 82 attack stat, which is not good, but it's usable on like a support mon. It gets some support moves. It can use Electro Web. It can boost up its defenses and use Baton Pass, or just be a slow Baton Pass so that I can just get a switch out, but still let Charger Bug take the hit. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what this thing can do. You know, Charizard can use that Heat Wave, and then this thing can switch to another Pokemon with that Baton Pass. We'll see. And then lastly, the chosen one, Chinchuo. I initially wanted Lantern for my last pick. I had 2 points left in Lantern, filled out an amazing roll next to Magnezone. Unfortunately, it was sniped by Keith. But I originally had Zora as my last pick. My fiance chose that, but after some consideration and making sure I got the okay from her, I switched to Chinchuo. Might only have 1 platinum record. Chinchuo plays the upright base, a little new to the competition, but its sponsor is a luminous lizard, which at one point was thought to be bioluminescent, even though I don't think it actually is, but in Chinchuo's case it is. Its role is not as the metal lizard. I forgot to change that. Its role is as the Magnezone enabler, because it has Voltazorb, it's faster than Magnezone, and it has Soak. So with Soak, I can turn one of the opponents into a water type, and suddenly Discharge just kills you. I mean, you have a ground type that would normally destroy Magnezone. It's gone now, you know? It also has Water Absorb, so it can function under rain teams like a Surf and Talion. And yeah, it's cuter than Lantern, so I'm not even that mad. This thing isn't going to come very many weeks, probably, but for a 1-pointer, I think I got great value of what my options are. And that's everything. That's the team. I'm really excited to get to use all of these fun mods. I'm going to be trying to post a video of every single match that I go through, providing a little commentary during it, and explaining the team I built for the week right before. So I hope you guys enjoy this journey. I hope you enjoy this content, and yeah, let's see if the Pancham Pianists can pull through and, you know, maybe even cinch out a championship this time. All right, thanks for watching.